Shall we start now?
Yeah, sure.
Ok. Dobar dan svima u ime Novexperta Hrvatska. Današnji webinar će vam održati na engleskom Zineb i direktno iz Novexperta Francuska. Nadam se da ćete uživati u današnjem webinaru. Svoja pitanja možete postaviti na info@roranatura.hr ili u toku ili poslije webinara. Uživajte. Zineb,
Okay. Okay, so I guess it's my turn. So I don't speak Croatian, but I get some words. My name is Zineb, and I'm responsible for the scientific communication at Novexperta, at Laboratoire Novexperta. And today we are going to talk about omegas. So I hope you will enjoy this presentation, and yet you will learn some maybe new information and some new tips about omegas, what they are, etc. So I hope you will enjoy. All right. So let's start. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the presentation. All right. There you go. So normally you are all able to see the presentation about omegas and the mystery revealed by Laboratoire Novexperta. So first thing, maybe you have heard about omegas, especially in the food industry. Everyone talks about them, and everyone believes to know omegas, but finally, there are not so many people that really know what is behind these letters, what they are, what is their purpose, and why did we use them, especially for skincare products. So this is how we are going to start. So the mysterious omegas. First thing that you need to know is that in the world, there are only 5 types of omegas, not more. You have omega-3, omega-5, omega-6, and omega-7, and omega-9. These are the only omegas that you can find in the whole world, in the nature, in vegetables, in oils, etc. Only 5 types of omegas. So now let's see what is behind this word omega. What does it really mean? So to make it short, omegas, they are part of huge family, a family called lipids. It's everything that comes from like greasy texture, okay? Omegas are particularly the active part of fatty substances such as oil, etc. And in every oil, you have 2 types of omegas and 2 types of what we called active part, fatty acid part. You have the saturated one, the one that you can see here in red, and you have the unsaturated one. So the saturated one are basically parts of the oils that are very bad for our health. They are the ones that they're going to be very stable, and they are very useless for our health. They are probably going to interact with, for example, our heart, our veins, and the way the blood is going to circulate. So they're gonna stuck in the blood circulation, and they're gonna cause a lot of harm and a lot of diseases. So these saturated ones, they should be avoided. And the second one, the unsaturated fatty acids, these are very good for our health. They are the one that we should be eating more, that we should be using, and omegas are part of unsaturated fatty acids. So now what we are going to see, it's a little bit of chemistry, but it's going to be very easy, is try to understand why we gave them like numbers, omega-3, omega-5, 6, 7, etc. So there you go. Here you have some examples to how to recognize omegas. The simple thing is that we always start to read an omega and to know the number of it from the last part that is opposite, like as you can see here, these atoms of oxygen, hydrogen, etc. You can find all of them in each omegas. These 4 examples are omegas, and they have the same ending, okay? The only thing that is going to change is where you have the first double bond you see here. So for example, we'll start with the example number 1. You start from here and you just count. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. first time you meet a double bond gives you the name of your omega. So this one is omega-6. Let's do the same with the second example. You start from here and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Second one is omega-9. And exactly the same thing we do with the example number 3 and number 5. This is just how to know, how to recognize the omegas. First time you meet a double bond, the number you meet it here, it gives you the name of omega. So that was just to give you some few scientific details. Now let's see the sources of omegas. Where do you find them? Where they come from? And are they in our skin already, etc. The first thing you need to know is that the source of omegas comes only from nutrition. Our skin is not able to produce its own omegas. Our skin is capable, for example, of producing hyaluronic acid. Our skin is capable of producing collagen, elastin, etc. But for omegas, the skin is not able to do it. The only way to bring omegas to your skin is only by nutrition. And this is something very important because it means that if your nutrition is not enough, has not enough omegas, it means that you are going to have a deficit and you are going to have a lack of omegas in your skin. And if you have a lack of omegas, it's going to have an impact on the way your skin is looking and also an impact on aging. So before, in our way of living and nutrition, we used to get as many omegas as our skin needed. But the problem is the way we are living and the way the modern life became, we are not having enough omegas from the food we are eating. Our modern life is bringing us less omegas than we should be taking. And this is having an impact directly in our skin. So here we can see where we can find in general omegas in the nature. So basically omegas are coming from different natural origins. You can have them from oil, you can also have them from animals, or you can have them from other natural origins. So let's look at the 5 different omegas and see where you can find them. So for example, for the omega-3, you can find omega-3 in very different places in various origins. You can find them, for example, in camelina oil, in cayenne oil. You also can find them in the food, in animals, like especially fish, sardines, salmon, but you can also find them in green vegetables, such like spinach and tofu. For omega-5, there are only 2 elements that can give us omega-5. You can find them only on pomegranate oil and in nutmeg. So depending on the omegas, as you can see here in this document, some omegas can be found in many different places, and some you can only pick them in few ingredients. And after that, we will see in detail what is the role of each of them and why do we need all 5 of them and not only 1 or 2. So for the omega-6, you can find them in sunflower, in tuna, in beans, in salad, etc. For omega-7, they only can be found in sea buckthorn. Sea buckthorn is just a little bush, you know, it's like a small tree that you can find in the nature. And it has, I will show you the picture later so you can see what it looks like. And finally, the omega-9, you can also find them in camelina oil, but also in macadamia, in pork, salmon, avocado. They are very rich in this omega-9. All right, so here you can see all the ingredients that have high amounts of omegas. Now let's look at our skin. Where do we find omegas in our skin? These omegas can only be brought, as I said, by food supplements. We do not produce them. And the main, let's say, lipid that you can find in our skin is the sebum. sebum is the main compound that contains omegas, and you can find it in the surface of our skin. You know, the sebum protects us thanks to also sweat and other elements. They create, you know, a shield on top of our skin, and they create a barrier called hydrolipidic film. Maybe you have heard of this word. The hydrolipidic film is a film in the surface of our skin, of everyone's skin, and it has a very, very important role because it protects us from everything, from the damages from outside, from bacteria, for many, many things. And the sebum is one of the main compounds of this hydrolipidic film. Hydro for the sweat part, you know, with the more watery texture, and lipidic from lipids, from sebum, you know, greasy texture. So you can find them on the top of our skin. But you can also find omegas inside our skin, not only on the surface. You can find them around in our cells. So you will find omegas, what we call intercellular cement. So imagine our skin is made of bricks, you know, like a wall. And between the bricks, you have the cement that makes our cells, our bricks, to stay stable and not to move. So here is another place that you can find omegas. And finally, the last place that you can find it is also around the cells inside. So basically, omegas is everywhere in our skin. You can find them at 3 different levels. Here at the surface, this, you can find them. It's the sebum. Then you can find them a little bit inside, as I said, like a cement between the bricks of our cells here. And third level, more deeper, you can find them around our cells. So here, as you can see, the omegas are everywhere, different levels of our skin, everywhere between our cells, inside the cells, on the surface. And so if we have that many omegas everywhere in every layer of our skin, it means that it must have a very important role. This is how we start at Novexperta to think about these omegas and start to be interested and intrigued about omegas. Like, you have this ingredient, you have this element that you can find everywhere. And we start to wonder, if we find them everywhere, it means that it probably have a very important role. And actually it is. It has a very, very important role in the stability of our skin, in the way it looks, in the aging process. And you can see, I'm going through this here, in our skin, you have 80% of omegas that are basically going just to nourish the skin. This one is the one on the surface, you know, the sebum. 80% of the lipids that we have in our skin, they are on the surface, and they nourish the skin. They bring it, you know, hydration, etc. But the 20% that you can find deeper between the cells and inside the cells, they have much more important role. They have a cleaning role. They maintain the pH level in the skin, and they maintain the skin flora. You know that all of us, we have a bacteria in our skin. It's called good bacteria. Maybe you have heard of probiotics, etc. So probiotics, basically, it's good bacteria that we have in our skin. Everyone has it. Each one of us have very specific bacteria, just its own. And this bacteria protect us from allergies, from any pathogen elements that you can find outside. And if your bacteria, your skin flora is destroyed, it means that there is room for bad bacteria to stick on the skin. And this is what creates many diseases. So having good pH and the skin flora at the perfect level means that you will have healthier skin. So omegas help to do this. Then they also nourish the skin. And how they nourish the skin, you know, if I come back just right here, you know, between all the cells, you have water. And this water, if you don't have the lipids and the omegas between the cells, it can evaporate. And when this water evaporates, this is when you have a dry skin. And your skin looks, sometimes we say it looks like crocodile. So omegas, they reduce the evaporation of the water. So this is how they nourish it. They also boost the synthesis of ceramides. Ceramides, they are another type of lipids that we also have in our skin. And these ceramides, they are going to help to have a healthier skin, to maintain the cells all together. So all of this works together to have much healthier and much good looking and smooth and soothe skin. It also helps to soothe the skin, as I was saying, by preventing the inflammation. And finally, the last role it plays is that it rejuvenated the skin. How it rejuvenates the skin? It helps to regulate the cell renewal. In our skin, the cells, if you look here, they are born at this level. So this is the epidermis, okay? The cells are born here, and every day they go up and up. They go just like this, up and up, to die at the end at the surface after 28 days, okay? So it takes roughly a month from this cell to go to die right here. So if you have a cell renewal that is very accelerated, it means that you are going to have a lot of dead cells, and sometimes it can provoke like psoriasis, it can provoke diseases like eczema, or sometimes it's going to aggravate acne if you have acne, because you're going to have a lot of dead cells on the surface and they're going to clog the pore, so the sebum cannot go out. And on the other side, if you have a slow cell renewal, it means that you will have dead cells on the surface. Your skin is going to be very thin because they're too slow to go up. And if the skin is too thin, it's going to get more wrinkled. So the role of omegas in the skin are super, super important. But the problem, as always, is that omegas are in danger. We have actually observed that our source of omegas is very weak and slow because of omegas deficiency in our Occidental way of living. And plus, there is another problem that has been revealed by dermatological studies, is that the least we have the capacity to keep these precious omegas in our skin. So basically, two problems. Right here, our alimentation, our food supplements, they are very poor in omegas. And in the other part, the more we are getting old, the least we are able to keep these precious omegas in our skin. So these are very important elements. Here you can see this in this graph how the omegas decrease by the age. So here you can see by the time you are between 20 and 30, your omegas concentration in the skin is 100%. So great, you have very good looking skin, no wrinkles, etc. And the more you get old, like the amount of omegas decreases at the age of 45 by 65%. So we have lost, when we arrive at the age of 45, more than half of the omegas we have in our skin. And the skin gets very, very thin. And you can see if you have, if you don't have enough omegas of your skin is going to look very dry. So you can see the difference between healthy skin and the skin with omegas deficit. So when you have this type of skin, it's going to get more wrinkled and going to be less healthy. So this is where Novexpert intervene, and we offer our range of 5 omegas, 100% from natural origin, and we're going to see where the omegas come from and how they play a role, a very important role in our skin. So all the products that we are using and all the oils that we have are first cold pressed. They are pure. There are absolutely no pesticides, no chemical treatment that have been done, etc., etc. But this is our regular charter at Novexpert, we always use 100% natural, and we're very, very careful about the ingredients we select. All of our ranges are certified, you know, with 2 labels in Europe, EcoCert and Cosmos. And all of the lines are hypoallergenic, and they are suitable for all skin types, even the sensitive ones. So now let's go through the properties of each omegas in our skin. So first, we were talking about omega-3. Omega-3 that we use in the Novexpert line come mainly from Inca Inchi oil and camelina oil. Those 2 oils, they have huge amount of omega-3, and their basic role is they're going to reduce erythema. This omega is very, very useful, especially for someone with sensitive skin. It can reduce the red patches, it's going to reduce the erythema, and it's going to be very soothing for sensitive skin. And Inca Inchi oil and camelina oil, they used to be used in for example, many cultures for many years. And the innovation of Novexpert is that we find out that camelina oil is able to make our skin produce omega-3. And this is very, very important, because this is the only oil that can help our skin stimulate the production of omega-3 by our skin cells. Normally, as I said at the beginning, our skin is not able to produce omegas, but because of camelina oil that contains omega-3, it helps our own cells to produce our own omega. So here you have it in our line. The second one is omega-5, and this one has a regenerating properties. So it basically comes from pomegranate seed oil, high amount of omega-5, and it helps the keratinocytes proliferation. What does it mean? It means that you are going to have a more accelerated renewal of the cells by 60%, and it has an anti-aging properties. Pomegranate has been known for many, many years in different kind of cultures, religion, like in old Egypt, in antique Greece, by all type of religion, as I was saying, by Islam, Jews, Christian. All of them, they consider the pomegranate juice and the pomegranate oil like the secret of long life. And it was known by all those cultures for this, but they didn't really know why it was called the secret of long life. And now we understood it's because it helps the keratinocyte renewal, and it has this anti-aging effect. Well, pomegranate oil has also many other characteristics. It is also anti-aging. It is also antioxidant. It has been used also to help, you know, anti-cancer, etc. Super good for the skin. Now, omega-6. This one is, I think, one of the most famous omegas, because you can find it also in the food industry, in sunflower oil if you are cooking, in butter, etc. This omegas in Novexpert products come from sesame oil and also sunflower oil. And this omega has a very specific role. It's the anti-dryness omega for the skin. It's going to strengthen the skin. It's going to have a very deep nutrition. Here we did a test. After 24 hours, you wash your face, for example, you apply omegas. Sorry, first you apply omegas, then after 24 hours, you wash your face, and we measured the level of nutrition. So even after 24 hours and washing your face, you still have a high level of nutrition by 80%. Compared to if you didn't put omegas and then you wait 24 hours and you wash your face, you are not going to have as much of nutrition as this. So this type of omegas is very interesting, especially in dry climates, when it's very cold, when it's very hot, etc. The fourth one is the omega-7, and this is one that is, I think, one of the less known omegas. And here you have the picture of the sea buckthorn. Sorry, it comes from sea buckthorn oil. So this is the bush, and it has this small fruit. It contains omega-7, and this omega has a scar healing properties. This is like the guardian angel of attacked skin. Tibetans have been using it for thousands of years for healing, and it is also, omega-7 are used in many European hospitals, especially for people that have been burned, because it helps to accelerate the scar healing. Here you can see it reduced the one size against placebo without sea buckthorn, and with sea buckthorn, the reduction of the wound of the scar is 40%. So very, very interesting, especially if someone had, for example, a surgery. You wait after the surgery that the scar is completely closed, and if you apply omega-7, it's going to accelerate the healing effect. And finally, the last one is the omega-9, and it comes particularly from marula oil and also from jojoba oil. Those are the two main ingredients that contain omega-9, and this omega has a protective role. It's very useful to protect the skin against aggressions. It creates like a microfilm on top of the skin, and it enables it to protect itself from aggressions. So for example, especially now in the summertime, at the swimming pools, at the sea, or when it's very windy, it can be very natural alternative, especially to the creams that contain petroleum and paraffin, etc. Here you can see jojoba was compared to petrol, and you can see the effectiveness of barrier recovery and water loss reduction. So jojoba oil has almost the same as petrol, or even better as petrol, and it doesn't have all the side effects, because you know, when you apply ingredients coming from petrol or from Vaseline, etc., basically you create a plastic film on top of your skin, and when you create this plastic film, your skin is not able to, and when your skin is not able to breathe, it's going to create an occlusive effect. So omega-9 has the same advantages as petrol, but without all the inconvenience, like being occlusive and you know, aggravating maybe acne and some kind of stuff like that. So to sum up, here you have all the omegas in our product from 3 to 9, each one of them coming from very specific ingredients, but they all have properties that complete each other. So you have soothing properties, regenerating, nourishing, scar healing, protective. So basically 360-degree properties that you are going to be carrying all over the skin. It also have been tested in very extreme conditions and also normal conditions. It can be used for very different things. So as I was saying, you have here all the properties. And I'm just going to talk, because I can see that it's almost, time is almost up, about here you have, well, some pathologies, but I'm not going to go too deep in here because it helps also from photoaging, scar healing, as I was saying, and from other pathologies like eczema, psoriasis, etc. But I'm going just through this very quickly. So they are very liked by dermatologists, especially because they can treat many skin diseases. And some other things you need to know. Usually when we think about oils, for example, I'm showing you the two main products that we have, the makeup remover oil, but also oil serum booster with the 5 omegas. You know, like I'm going to take the example of the cleansing oil. Usually someone with oily skin or combination skin, they don't want to use an oily texture because they think it's going to be very greasy and it's going to create maybe a more shining effect. But actually all the oils, especially omegas, and the one we have selected, first thing, they are not comedogenic. Second thing, that for example, in oily cleansers, because you are going to wash your face, you are going to get the benefits from the oil when, for example, you use a makeup remover, like this oil, but you are not going to get the side effect of shining oil because you wash your face. And everyone needs omegas, everyone needs oil. Even if you have a shiny or oily or combination skin, you still can use omegas because they are going to help, for example, to regulate the sebum production. Usually when you have an oily or combination skin, it means that your own skin is producing too much sebum, and the sebum comes very quickly to the surface. So this is what gives this shiny effect. But when you use the 5 omegas, it's going to help regulate this process, and then you will have less shiny skin. So definitely cleansing oils are suitable for all skin types, even for the combination and oily one. And for our boosters with the 5 omegas, this one can basically be used in many type of conditions. For example, it to prevent, for example, the stretch marks, especially because all of our products are compatible for pregnant women and breastfeeding one. They can be used to prevent these types of stretch marks, or maybe someone who is doing a diet, and because when you lose weight, then your skin can get this type of marks, so you can also use it. All these oils can help to prevent from sunburn, either in the summertime or during winter time. For example, if the person goes skiing, it can be used really in different parts of the body, like if you have dry parts, for example, the elbows, but also the knees. It can use also to help from dry ends, like from the hair dry ends, or also around the nails. These omegas are needed, everyone in the body. So definitely do not hesitate to try them out. And especially they are also very safe. So as I was saying, all of our products, they are 100% natural, from natural origin, hypoallergenic, no allergens. And they're also vegan, because as I was saying in the beginning, the omegas can be found in vegetables, in plants, but also in animals. But at Novexpert, we selected only the one coming either from vegetables or from plants, none from animal origin. And all of the products are made in France. They are produced in France. Everything is made here in France, and formulated also by doctors. So we have a huge link with doctors, with physicians, dermatologists, etc., to help us develop products that are going to be suitable for everyone and for all the issues that people can suffer from. All right, so here you can just see some of the lifestyle and skin problems that can help you select which type of omegas can be suitable. But basically, you don't need to select between omega-3, omega-5, or 7. You can use all of them, and you have all of them in one product, like the serum booster with 5 omegas, which is very unique because we are the only brand that have been interested and that have worked on all those omegas that you can find in the world, and all types of properties that they have all together in one range. Okay, so this is it. I hope you enjoyed this this training. I hope you enjoyed this masterclass, that you maybe learn some new things about omegas and about the way using them and where they come from and why they are so important for our skin. So thank you very much, and wishing you a very good evening. Bye-bye.
You too, bye-bye.